ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro. Good morning, welcome to it. It is the Morning Shake with me, your host, Xavier Hendricks. And of course, I am with my amazing, energetic, it's what the people want to know, co-host, Mr. J. Paris.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Good morning to the folks.
What up to the youngins?
What up to the youngins and bless up to the world. I'm a bit sad though, broski, because yesterday Liverpool drew with Manchester United and... Hey, bro, Liverpool's just been playing so whack. So we haven't even scored a Premier League goal in 2021.
So the Liverpool players out there, bro. So for the past couple of weeks, you have been, in fact, for the past couple of months, you guys have been having a Joel telling everyone, yeah, we're back and we're doing our thing and we're winning and we're this and we're that and that. Now, life has gone a little bit not so 100% for you. And now the Manchester United, fans, they like, yo, yeah, you see.
Yeah, bro. It's just because they've recently been top of the log for the first time, I think, in 7 years, 7 months. So
were you watching last night? Was it last night?
Yeah, of course, bro. I'm a Liverpool supporter. It was last night, and hey, bro, the guys just disappointed me, but it's cool. Halfway through the season, we'll see what's next.
So your weekend, what's been happening outside of football?
Hey, bro, I've just been chilling. Taking it easy. You know, the weeks usually get hectic, bro. So when weekends approach, it's just, other than playing indoor football, which we can't do now, obviously under, COVID regulations and so forth on, I'm just at home chilling, bro. Your side?
Nah, my side, I'm easy, bro. You know what it is? It's with the family. Obviously just trying to keep things in order there. And then obviously, with the restrictions and everything going on.
Life's a bit boring, bro.
But bro, with the restrictions and everything going on, it's like you're not sure what you can, what you can't do. It's like, so it becomes a thing. But outside of that, man, I'm actually quite interested and excited for today's show. We got a dope guest with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, you would know him from watching your TV screens every day. He's literally on there all the time. Sometimes he's giving us some news we don't want to hear. Sometimes he's giving us some good news, some bad news, but it depends. It's not easy. You can't... What's the saying that says, don't kill the messenger. He's just there to report on the news. But ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is an award-winning reporter, and he's been traveling literally all around South Africa and even abroad, just literally getting into different situations, putting himself sometimes in the line of fire. Ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome our guest today, none other than Aviwe.
Yes, let's go. Drum roll.
How you doing, my brother?
Well, thanks to you. Well, that Manchester United drew yesterday and still number one. I must report that news.
So I'm guessing you're United.
Of course. Happy that we're still in the lead, but cautious about Manchester City.
I tell people about City from the start of this year, and they form in the beginning of the year wasn't too good, but I know City, as soon as they go on a run, they go for it.
It seems like they're coming back now.
They're coming back strong. So who you Manchester United or City?
United, always.
So how are you feeling about last night?
Obviously happy. Would have been better if Pogba actually scored that goal.
You'll have two top chances to actually...
To beat you guys, yeah. But you guys were also informed. Liverpool was actually playing quite well first half of the game.
I think possession-wise, yes, but we're not creating chances. Like I mentioned, we haven't scored a goal in 2021, which is a major concern, bro.
I feel like I'm on a Super Sports set now. Super Sports. Like the other day, we had Mark Haskins on one of our shows, on the Friday show, and because he was also speaking about like football and all this kind of thing. It was like, I felt like I was in Super Sports.
Thanks, bro.
But Aviwe, you have an interesting life, man. You have an interesting journey altogether, and I'm interested in knowing that. So last week you came to the church. You were reporting on COVID, lockdown, level 3, all that kind of stuff, and that's where we actually met. In fact, we met through a mutual friend, Aldrin Miller, who was supposed to be on the show. So I hope he's watching. And so we met through a mutual friend, and he introduced me to you. And we covered the show, and that's where I said to you, listen, man, I want you to come be a part of the show because I feel like you have an interesting story to tell. How did you get into journalism in the first place? So reporting, what exactly is it? Journalism? How did you manage to get into it? Was the interest since young, or what's the setup?
It's journalism. So I'm from the Eastern Cape, Ginsberg location, a small township in the Eastern Cape, actually where Steve Biko is actually from. So imagine I started journalism back in 2013 as a student at Walter Sisulu University in East London. And a couple of years later, 2021, I'm a senior journalist at eNCA. It's been one journey. I can't even describe it properly, but an interesting journey nonetheless. So I started professionally 2015, starting at Forbes Africa. So I guess my passion for it, and believing, trying to aim as high as I can from the get-go got me to where I am so fast. So journalism is something that I've always wanted to do in terms of helping. I saw my background coming back from a small township, seeing the hardships over there. So I've always been a person that wants to implement change, no matter how little that change is. And it's something that I get to live on a daily basis now. I'm lucky to actually be doing this kind of job. So I started at Forbes Africa. Even that is a story on its own, because when I applied, they didn't know that I'm from King Williamstown, from Ginsberg. So they're like, now come through the following morning for an interview.
You're
Like,
on the other side of the world.
Okay, give me a chance, yeah. I'll take a bus, but it has to be next week sometime. So they were quite impressed. The mere effort that of me taking a bus, making sure I get there. And then I literally did the interview, got back on the bus again to the east. It's a 12-hour journey. So they were like, wow, you really must be hungry for this. So they gave me an opportunity, 6 months internship, but within the first 2 months, they'd already accepted me, gave me something more permanent. But of course, it didn't come with the fortunes just yet. I had to hang around for that. But the passion for it, I got an award first year of it, the best newcomer in financial journalism.
In which year was that?
That was 2016. It was the best newcomer. But I guess the bigger accolade for me on that night, I got I didn't win overall, but I was nominated amongst the best 3 TV reporters.
Sheesh, so these are the boys in the game.
So I was there with people from like big names, Joy Summers from Carte Blanche. And just seeing my name among
so
there,
being I'm just among the stars,
I was mentioned among the top 3. Didn't get it, obviously, but I was proud that within my first year of journalism, I was there with the best of the 2, So I was among the top 3. So something I've always been hungry for. eNCA got there 2018. Yeah. And then within that short period, I'm a senior. I got there just as a normal reporter. Now I'm a senior reporter because of the stories that I've been doing and the passion and the hunger.
And just the hunger. But I mean, look, you phone for an interview, right? You're like, yeah, I'm interested, blah, blah, blah. Can I come through? They say, yes, be here tomorrow. You're like, yeah, hold on, it's not that simple. I'm not around the corner. I actually have to get here with a bus. So take us through that journey. Did you then manage to set up for the next week, or did you have to be there the next day?
I asked them just, okay, give me time. I need to book a bus and so on. Yeah. So they were like, okay, sure. They were impressed by that, even that effort, okay. Because I went through the following week.
So then you obviously had to tell them, look, I'm not in Joburg, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah, I told them straight up, no, I'm from the Eastern Cape, and give me time, but I'll make it up there. Yes. So I came up. And it was just by, imagine, coming from a small university, Walter Sisulu University, going to Forbes Africa, which is an international.
But your
company.
upbringing, was it one that came from a background of being financially fit, or was it one that you had to kind of just wiggle your way through as you kind of?
It's one of those where my parents try to do with the little that they can. They try to take me to good schools, But even there, I couldn't wear your Nikes. I remember I had a techie once called Q Mark.
There was no name brand.
So they tried to give me the best, and obviously I wasn't as. I think I knew I was a bit smart, but I was a bit naughty as well. So there were those disappointments that came with it, and then I had to also push my way back up into where I am. I had to fight for where I am, because of course you disappoint parents here and there, and then you see, okay, you've done this and that. You try to get back to the straight and narrow. Even that journey on its own, seeing I call it the 5 years of wilderness in my life, where it was a bit
Where you went a little bit away from the steered away from the straight and narrow.
Yeah. So those years, that's where I actually gained the passion for journalism, seeing the reality of how people live, on a daily basis. See the non-existent life, normal circle which is amounting to nothing. They wake up, they have a same routine that takes them to nothing, basically.
And a day becomes
the
a week,
hardships,
and a week
and you
becomes a
see,
month.
you
Yeah.
know, and it's just there. Years go by, and they're doing nothing, basically. Some of them are selling for a living. They'll sell these, is it Coke bottles, just to get those 2 rands.
Yes,
and then,
yeah.
you know, you see those struggles, and you see, no, but this could be changed. It could be done better, you know. So that's why I think my calling and my passion for journalism came out of that, wanting to do...
To bring change.
Yeah, no matter how little it is. And I'm good, I guess I'm lucky now to do it in a huge scale, where I'm implementing the change in a much bigger scale. This is something that I'm totally blessed.
So now when you got your first job regarding that, did you start taking a 12-hour bus every day?
No, I had to move up to Joburg.
Because that's like, if you start like at 7 a.m. in the morning,
Yeah, I had
6
to,
p.m. the night before.
No, bro, that's unpractical. Of course, you have to come this
I
way.
had to come up to Joburg.
So you come to Joburg, you don't know people.
Yes.
What's that? What take us through that? How?
First time in Joburg, 2015, July. Got the internship. In order to graduate, I needed to go through a 6-month in-service training. So I got that. I had cousins, luckily, this side. So I stayed with them for 2 months, but I couldn't cramp up their space.
And you're also feeling like, I don't want to impose on people's privacy.
Yeah, so after 2 months, I had to move on my own. I lived near Yeovil. They call it Houghton Estate, but I tell you, it's the Yeovil side of things where you see huge rats.
You're
On
not
a
sure if it's a
daily
dog or a
basis,
cat
living
or
in
a
a
rat.
back room, lived in a back room for, it was a struggle, in the beginning. But I knew the passion
end
for
goal.
it. I knew journalism doesn't pay off, but there is that certain percent of people that get a lot of money. So I knew if I were to tap into that, then obviously this would be a thing of the past and all of that. And my hunger for it, daily trying to better myself, better the craft. Even now, I don't stop. People that know me will tell you, I flick through the channels, trying to see how can I do this better, how can I... Because it doesn't stop, really.
So you started Forbes.
Forbes Africa.
Forbes Africa.
But the salary didn't say Forbes Africa.
Yeah. Because Forbes, that name, it sounds like, you're making money now.
Yeah, you'd think, nah. But obviously, you're starting off in-service training, something that they didn't even have. But after they got me in, they didn't know of Walter Sisulu University, mind you. But after they got me in, they only took people from Walter Sisulu University because of...
because of the foot that you put forward, like the ethic and whatever.
They were very impressed with my work, but it didn't come with the money, because I was only starting off. So I'd had to, even after 2 months, they tried me for television. That's how I went, because Forbes is under ABN group, which owns the magazine Forbes Africa and the CNBC Africa TV channel, broadcast in 48 countries in Africa.
Sheesh.
So they tried me. I think one of the reporters was ill or something, and then there was a breaking story. I had to go out and do that for Forbes, but then they asked if I could take a camera with me, camera operator, also just film, while I was there. So I filmed.
So you were first
And
the
then I
camera
went back.
operator?
No. I had to take a camera operator with me to the story.
To catch the
for
story.
CNBC.
Yeah.
I mean, I was writing for Forbes, but then I had to take a camera operator. So I took that, did that, shot. But I already did. I have a book. Like in journalism, they teach you everything. You not only taught how to write. Even in varsity, I did a bit of camera work myself, actually. So I knew the shots that were needed for television. So when I went back, I gave them the story. They said, like, script it. I scripted it, and then like one of the bosses, Chris Bishop, was like my mentor, actually. He was like, do you want to... Okay, he said he's going to voice it himself for television. I told him, no, this is my story. I owned it from that. Yeah, I'm going to voice it. I'm going to do everything. And after that, I put such a brilliant package. They were like, okay,
now you do this.
as well. And that's where I guess I was lucky enough to both write for the Forbes Africa magazine and also do television.
Sheesh.
That's where I actually won awards.
But you had to put in that effort. And you can imagine, because now you're writing on the one side, you're reporting on the other side, so you kind of double.
It's double the work, but the salary is not doubled. You're getting one salary.
But in your mind, you know that, wait, I'm on my way somewhere here.
Yeah.
I'm aiming for the stars.
If you block out everything else, you know what you're doing. You know where this is going to take you. Even now, I mean, I still know I've got goals, that I need to push towards. So I know where I'm going. It's not about what's happening now in my life. It's about the vision that's there.
Where you're on your way to. So regardless of where you are now, you know that you're definitely going somewhere. Jay, do you want to jump in on something?
Nah, I see you speaking about salary. How's the bag now, though?
It's better. It's not where I want it to be.
So you still...
It's way better than the way it started off. But obviously we push for it.
But it gets you through.
Yeah, now
It gets you through.
It's comfortable.
So then you're done with Forbes, you move over eNCA.
Yeah.
You get to eNCA.
Listen,
where do you start?
that's
Do you
the
start from
channel-
the ground again, or do you?
I get there as a normal reporter, as a business reporter, nah? But
So you have a
it's-
bit of a name already. People know you from.
Remember CNBC,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not much of a name. I mean, in South Africa, CNBC gets 0.3% viewership. It's
Yeah.
bigger on the African continent than in South Africa
Yeah,
itself, you know? So it's not much of a name, but I'm known a bit. But I get there, I'm working with giants in the industry. This is eNCA we're talking
Yeah.
about, you know? I'm privileged even now to work with some of my role models, you know, in the industry.
People
So
you
I
used to look up to, now
I
you're
watched
working
it
with them.
every day. I remember at CNBC, it's the channel that I watched, and I was like, okay, that's where I'm going. Even getting there, I think I went to 5 or so interviews,
Sheesh.
getting rejected continuously. But I knew that's where I want to end up. So I never quit applying. Whatever job would come through. But luckily enough, it was for business this time around, because I applied even for online jobs, for different jobs, just to get me there, get my foot there, and then I'd work my way
Hey, bro,
to,
that's vision.
to where I want
That's
to go,
vision
you know?
and determination.
Yeah,
Was there a point though where you thought, you know what, nah, this is not working out?
Never. Like it must never be there. You know, even. I mean, my story on itself. I come from Ginsberg location. I'm in Johannesburg now. I'm a senior reporter at one of the biggest channels in the African continent. You know, there must never be a point where you're like, I'm defeated now. If you see, okay, this is a dead end, you strategize. I take a day or two. I think about, okay, what are we doing different now? How can we beat this obstacle? If it seems like a dead end, what do I do differently? You know, for example, I never quit applying for eNCA. I knew that's where I wanted to be. Imagine if I had just stopped. These guys don't want me. Where would I be now? You know. So you never stop. You have to be hungry for it continuously.
So one of the things that I'm thinking, so far I'm taking out 3 points just from that little story that you told now. Number one, there must be a vision. So you said that, look, you were watching it on TV and you knew something inside of you knew that this is where I'm going to be. Number two, you didn't give up. You were like that persistence and tenacity to say that, look, I'm going to get this come hell or high water. I'm going to keep applying. But now the third thing is that you did is that even after you were getting rejected, like Jay is asking, so did you ever get to a point of, sure, it's not working, let me try something else?
I mean, it
you
seems,
were like,
it
nah,
seems
let
as
me...
though you were on your own, basically, you know, moving from immediate family. Now you're with, you know, cousins and so forth on, and you know how the vibe is, like you mentioned. It's like, okay, now you've been with us.
Yeah, because
for
that
the
can also
past-
that can also be like almost like disappointing, almost like, because now you're away from your family, you're away from your people that you know, you're away from an environment that you're familiar with, and you kind of now have to just hustle your way through life. But still, that determination and that strategy, and like you said, when you get to the dead end, and I think for anyone watching this or watching it after this thing goes live, or after the live is done, it's a matter of, even if you get to the dead end. And I think there's something interesting that you mentioned. Even now, like with COVID, a lot of people got to the point where they reached that level of bruh, you know, they're busy retrenching at work, or they're cutting the salaries and this and that. You know, let me just, you know, there's now nothing else I can do.
It can't stop. That's my thing. A positive mindset will get you everywhere. You know, I think that's the biggest thing that have helped me through my journey, coming from the township to where I am now, and to where I'm still going, because it doesn't stop here, you know. A positive mindset. You always have to remain positive. Cut out negativity. If there are elements in your life where you feel you're being dragged down by negative energy, try to cut them out, you know, because it's not going to help you. You'll focus on that. Your mind needs to continuously be on a positive trajectory, so that your thoughts will, if you, for example, you say you want to go to Table Mountain and you keep that positive thought there, you'll figure out ways on a daily basis how to get to that Table Mountain, you know. So I think one of the biggest things that a person can have is a positive mindset, and continuously egging on that positive mindset to get where they want to.
Just keep pushing. All right, Jay, I want to jump into this game here. Let's lighten up the mood, because after this game, it's going to get serious. I'm going to ask you some serious questions, and really just get behind your job that you're doing now, and how tricky it can become. But before we get into that, we want to get into a little bit of a fun thing. And Jay, today I'm gonna give you the honors, bro, to kick us off. And so, as you know, that on the Morning Shake with myself and Jay Paris, what we do is we play this game called Hatsal or Ish, and it's a more local version of Never Have I Ever. A more local version of we ask an interesting question, and our guest or all of us around the table have to say whether we've done it or we haven't. So Hatsal means no, I haven't. Ish means ish, yeah, I have. And then if there's an ish, ladies and gentlemen, there's a story that follows.
So
Jay,
I'm trying to avoid the Asian, so I don't have to tell any story.
but the trick of this game, Aviwe, is that you have to be honest. Okay. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with us. Be honest with our viewers. Jay,
So
kick us off, bro.
let's go
see.
for it. Aviwe, I know you got your significant other in the studio, right?
A good friend of mine. Good friend of mine.
A
That's
good
what
friend,
they
a good
always
friend.
say. Good friend of
Aight,
mine.
aight, okay.
Okay, it's cool. It's cool.
So don't get too serious about these questions now, Jay. Because you know, Jay, he looks into the camera, he says it's what the people want to know, and then Jay starts getting hectic with the questions. So Jay,
Never have I ever kissed more than one person in 24 hours.
in 24 hours,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
One person. No, this is a no, nah?
Yeah, that's a no.
I think that's an H for me.
Nah, I don't. Do you want to know his story?
Yes, what happened? I'm interested.
I think we were at youth, and I needed.
Is this church youth or what? Some other youth?
I think church youth.
Oh, wow. This is an interesting church. I think I want to come here.
Nah, they're young, the hormones are all over the place, so you don't know.
Yeah, and I had a date with someone afterwards, and I kind of messed up at youth.
Hope you prayed for that, son.
Nah, but I always tell people better, kiss at church than elsewhere.
Oh. Definitely.
Better
come
kiss
here.
where
Next
it's
Sunday,
safe.
I'm here.
It's safe.
Better kiss where it's safe.
Okay, bro, keep going. You made this note. Keep going, bro. Give us another one. That's an
You
ish from-
got anything there, bro?
No, bro, go again.
There's so many here, bro.
Okay, let me go with one. Let me go with
look.
one. While I'm doing this one, bro, you get another one. Okay, right. Hatsal or ish. I have re-gifted a gift before. So someone gave you something, you never liked it, you gave it to someone.
It's a bit of an age.
What did I say? I said no.
That's all for me.
So now you have to tell us what happened. Do you remember exactly the day that it happened or the
No,
story?
but it's something that I didn't like,
So, but
And-
what happened?
No, it was a gift. I think from one of my siblings, but something that I didn't. I'm not gonna say what it was.
I hope they're not watching.
So I didn't really, So I just rewrapped it and gave it to someone that liked that, and would use it to their benefit.
But now you give it to someone, did you tell them it's a gift from you? You don't tell them the background.
But it is from me, though.
The
Technically, it is. It's not from anyone else. It's from me, though, and it comes from the goodness of my heart. And I mean, they'd use it to
better their
than
lives.
me, better than me.
Okay, let's go this one. Hatsal or ish. This one's a little bit more interesting, Jay, while you're getting ready with your one, right?
Yes,
This one's
sir.
interesting. This is my own thing, right? If you win the lottery, would you tell someone?
My good friend.
I'm gonna say. So ish means yeah, I will. Hatsal means I won't. If you win the lottery, would you?
I
Let's
would.
give our
Okay,
answers.
Okay.
I'm gonna
It's
go
an
with
ish,
no,
nah?
bruh.
I tell.
And I'll tell you why even.
It's
You say yes.
I wouldn't tell work people or anything like that. I wouldn't be extravagant all about my money. But at least, well, it's something that we conversed about yesterday.
Or do you
And
think
I
it
said
depends on the
that.
amount? Because
Not
if you
even
win
if
a million rand, you can't be, yo, I got a million. That money will be finishing up
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. But
So what if you
maybe,
win like,
But I wouldn't
50
change
million?
anything. I wouldn't even buy cars for like a year or two. I'd just be normal me.
Would you stay at work? Would you do one of those like go to your
No,
office,
I'd stay at
put
work.
your shoes on the table and say, yeah, you see now.
I'd stay at work. I'd still live my normal life for at least another year or so. And then slowly
And then slowly start
get
phasing
things,
it out.
Make not spend it, but get things that would justify it.
Think your mind will change if you see those zeros in your account.
But at least let me take leave for a bit. Let me go to.
Because you saying that now,
Yes,
I will stay grounded, because I know where I come from. You see those zeros, you like, ish, ish. Yeah, maybe let's just take a holiday.
It's leave for a bit,
You see?
Just 1 week or so.
I think this one's for you, and this is definitely an H for you based on what you do. Never have I ever not showered for more than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's difficult.
You out
on
and
this
about.
job. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. A couple of times I'm out. When I spoke to you the other day,
Yeah.
the following day I went to Mpumalanga, the Lebombo Bridge. Obviously, I was showering, but just trying to show you that you move on quickly. Stories break. I could be doing something different. In a week, I go to different provinces. There was a week I think I went to 4 different provinces. So yeah.
So it's like you have to be there.
You
And then
move.
you came with this other guy. Does he usually drive you around, your cameraman, or do you drive yourself? Or if something happens, do you have to like rush there? How does that work? Like let's say you in Eldos now, they were looting there, this thing, or next thing there's something happening in Nelspruit. Do you have to get there, or is the reporters that side?
There are no reporters in Nelspruit. So the reporters for eNCA, Joburg, but we try to be everywhere. Hence we do a lot of driving. We don't have reporters in Mpumalanga, so I had to drive there. So the reporters Joburg, Durban, Eastern Cape, Cape Town. But so those reporters try to cover the other
Whoever's
regions.
closest must get
Yeah,
you.
try to cover it. Sometimes they want you specifically to go there, depending on how good you tell the story or how familiar you are with the story. So yeah, you move. So you try to help each other, but normally it's the camera operators that drive. But obviously you want to help.
You want to be there. You want to make sure that
be tired. You
we're
can't-
working together. Yeah.
You know, you can't drive the whole way and then get there still working, filming. He's gonna be tired, you know.
Yeah, and then
I'm sure you and your significant other in the studio are always having fights.
No, we
Babe, we
don't.
have dinner tonight at 7.
then
So
the story
past
breaks.
six.
Story breaks. You have to be there. And then you out. So here's a question, right? Here's where it starts getting interesting. I'm done with this game, but it gets interesting. I wanna find out from you. You go to this. Last week I was watching. You were at the border, and you're obviously covering the story with COVID not allowing people to come in and da 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 da. If you get there, part of your professional job is to cover the story. But surely you are a human being. You have feelings, you have emotions, you have all these things. Does it ever overlap? Do you ever get to a point where you're like, Aaron, I'm supposed to be reporting, but I'm now feeling bad.
Yeah, obviously a lot of the stories. I mean, the other time, one that comes to mind in El Dorado Park, actually, when there was that killing of Nathaniel Julies by the police.
Yeah.
So the following day, we were there on the scene covering it. And then I overheard a conversation. Remember, there were tear gases and rubber bullets being fired. So one of those episodes happened where tear gas exploded and police fired rubber bullets. People
While you guys are reporting.
we're there, yeah. So you have to take a lot of that live, you know. And then just after that, I saw policemen cuddled up together, you know. And one of the officers was like, "You must just shoot everyone with the rubber bullets. You must shoot everyone. I don't care if it's a journalist or whatever. You must just shoot." I'm like, "Excuse me." I was literally walking by. "Excuse me, sorry, did I hear correctly? Are you instructing officers to shoot?" There were probably like 14 of them. So I was like, "Are you instructing officers to shoot journalists, you know?" It's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why? Why are you doing that?" My emotions got on them. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "No, you're getting in our way." I'm like, "But then why don't you tell us if we're on your way, you know, so we can move?" I mean, and he's like, "This one," he instructed them. There, he's like, "This one, start with them."
Because you
Make
asked.
that you should. I'm like, "Wow, this guy." I'm like, "You're not going to do that." And then it just so happened while I was still angry, I was going to go live like in 2 minutes. It just so happened. So I tried to take my emotions out of it, because I had to report what was happening on the ground. And then I went live, I remember it was with Tula Sizwe Simelan. So it comes on. So I start, "Aviwe, what's happening there?" I'm like, they just, did this. And then I just lost it. I just lost it. Like, but what disgusts me is that, and then I mentioned what happened, with the police officer. And then I just thought, Tula Sizwe was like, "Yeah, no, this is not on." The eNCA in studio is like, "No, this is not on. President Ramaphosa, surely, Becky Cela, And this time I'm just looking for this guy, and then I found him.
The
While
same
we were
police that's
live.
busy saying.
Yes. Found him while we were live. Yo, did I not go?
Name
for
and
him?
shame.
On live camera, I just went to him like, "Sorry, sir." Yo, he tried to run away, eh? I'm like, "Sorry, why do you want journalists to be shot?" Live on air, It was a huge thing that really exploded. Like, why? And he kept on running away. I'm like, this guy, account, why? Tell. Why you want journalists? He actually came and apologized after that episode, you know?
Yeah, because when he was there, he was brave
And,
with the guys.
Yeah,
So
he
when
was
you
pushing the camera away. And he was telling them to arrest me there. I'm like, no, if I'm arrested, because it's still live. It was rolling. I'm like, no, if I'm arrested, it's because of that cop. He's instructing them to arrest me and so on and so on for wanting accountability and so on. You know, so it was one of those things where you couldn't, you try to separate your emotions, you know, but sometimes they do get in the way. You know, these are human stories. That's why you do journalism. You want to change lives. I mean, just was it yesterday? The day before, Saturday, a 7-year-old child was shot in Soweto by, you know, like those stories, they get to you, you know. I guess that's why they say journalism is one of the professions that drinks a lot, because they have to. Not that I
it's like counselors, though.
You know,
because a counselor similar, you have to sit there and listen to people's trauma stories.
Yeah, so
you can imagine it. You there, you seeing the things. Yeah. Have you ever been in? Did you cover Feesmas 4?
I did. Those tear gas. Hey.
So your life is always in danger.
Not danger. It's fun. It's exciting. Though, you know?
and we were speaking about this, you know, prior to the show, about, you know, asking you what are some of the
that's what I wanted to ask. But before we ask that's why I was leading with the whole question about Feesmas 4, because I was at Feesmas 4.
Yeah.
And it started getting hectic, bro.
Yeah,
it started like pop.
It does. And those tear gas go right next to you. The police shoot. I mean, they shot some journalists, but you try to be smart about it. But yeah, you're in the firing line yourself. It's the students. The students don't want journalists there sometimes. So you have to try to calm them down. Like, guys, let's talk and so on. Sometimes you get in the line of rocks, things thrown at you.
I remember, so I was there, right? And this one political party came. I won't mention names because we live now. Because this one political party came. And let's just say wherever they come, they fight and kick and throw and scream and break and burn and do whatever. So we were there and we're doing our thing. What? Next thing, you just see this wave of brightness coming from emergency colors coming there. And next thing is like, go. They start running straight. They start tramping on the fences and things. So everyone's like, whoa, what's happening now? We all move out the way. Next thing, the cops come.
I guess that's what's exciting about journalism. You never know where your office will be the following day. You don't really report to the office. Report to the field depending on what you're doing. I mean, I've done a lot of stories, as I say, whole 9 provinces, some around the world. I mean, I was in the Eastern Cape just now, where I went into COVID-19 hospitals with the full PPE regalia.
I saw that picture, yeah.
All in white. So, I mean, I was reporting there was a lady that was being resuscitated, COVID-19, probably where you're sitting, and then just where the camera is over there. Someone had passed away there. It was during this time. That's where we went inside the hospitals. That full regalia, you get to see how it was, you know. Those people are. I'm glad they don't show their faces, but they're COVID-19 positive, and you'd imagine 50% of them don't make it out alive in those wards. The ones with the
underlying issues and all that.
50% of the people that go into the COVID-19
What
wards
is the vibe and the energy in that place?
You can imagine the healthcare workers. They get tired, the fatigue, you know. Some of them are new. That's the story that I was talking about. The 7-year-old was shot there just on Saturday.
This is the story that you went to go cover there.
The 7-year-old was shot. Yeah, in
Soweto, you said.
Yeah, it was so sad, man. 7-year-old kid. So it's all those emotions that you have to deal with on a continuous basis.
So
yeah.
So you're going through those emotions. You're feeling this. Have you ever been in a situation where your life was really in danger, like outside of the COVID one? Obviously, that is a big one. But I mean, like action as far as shooting and looting, and
it happens
where you felt like, I need to move here.
It happens, especially at these. I'll mention El Dorado Park once more. Nathaniel Julius's death and all that, the riots that went on. The community upheaval, you know, it was difficult. I think I was the first journalist to cross the line to the actual community, the first journalist to speak to the family. That was quite scary because you don't know the reaction of the community. The whole time they were throwing rocks and stuff, the police stun grenades and all that. That action, now you have to cross over to the other side because you want the story as well. So you have to, even my camera operator was like, no, I'm not doing that.
You didn't want to go
I'm
that way.
not going there. So I had to signal to the guys, like, okay, I come in peace somehow, you know?
Yeah.
Put my hands up. And they were like, yeah, come. And then only then was I comfortable enough. But even going there, I mean, the cops aren't going there. They're not going to go with you. They're fighting with them. So you put your life in danger a lot of the times, you know? In the Eastern Cape, there are a number of instances, you know, go into Transkei, the areas there where even the stories, some of the stories, there are stories that you think, this is not worth my life. There's a huge story. I was like, no, not this one. It involved huge politicians, different presidents from other countries.
Did you cover Marikana?
Not when it initially happened, 2012.
Because I know there it was also shooting, people lost lives.
Not when it happened, but I did go there when one of these commemorations, you know, in 2016 and 2017, I was there, but I wasn't there when it was happening live in 2012.
So in South Africa, people who watch the show will know that I'm very unhappy with some of the things that our politicians are doing and the way they're governing our country, right? And as even the police. And so what I've started finding is that a lot of times, and I want your input or your thought on this, is a lot of times people are getting to the point where they're not even calling the cops anymore. A lot of times you're getting to the point where people are reporting back on how the cops handled the situation, or the cops didn't even show up, or they came 2 days after, or there was just a lack of interest. And I'm starting to see, especially when I listen to the news, watch the news, I'm starting to find people trying to find help more from actual journalists. I see people like, for example, there's a big station in Joburg, or especially Joburg in Cape Town, in 702 Cape Talk. I see when I'm listening, driving, people are phoning in the, hey, something happened here, you know, someone was shot, I heard something, whatever. And then those people, those presenters or those producers at the station, they must be the ones to say, okay, we'll deal with it. And then, you know, call one of the police chiefs or somebody. And then I feel like only when that pressure is put, now all of a sudden there's a spotlight on that situation. Now the police feel almost pressure to perform. Do you find that in your line of work that people are starting to get to the point where they'd rather call eNCA or 702 or one of these journalist broadcasting houses or something before they call the cops? Have you found that to be true in your line of work or no?
I guess that's the essence of journalism, you know, as the fourth estate, they call it, to help those, like, you're not going to get accountability from politics, well, the full accountability. So in order for things to happen, and that's the thing with journalism, it gains accountability now. Things change now. Imagine if we didn't come for Nathaniel Julius, for example, if those 3 officers would be behind bars this very moment
Probably
that we're
not.
talking to, you know? So it's getting that accountability and getting it now.
Shining
you
that
know?
spotlight
That
on-
spotlight and not relenting. That's the one thing I think journalists also need to learn, to stick to the story, so that it doesn't die down. That's what I think we need to do more of as journalists, because people will come to us, will shine the spotlight there, but then
then it kind of fades away afterwards. Yeah.
So we need, I think, as journalists also to go back and revisit the stories and stay on stories, you know. I guess that's where we'll need more manpower, because sometimes you have to continue. As I say, there are many stories to be told. A lot of people that need that help, you know. So even now, I'm thinking of going to Yeovil. There's a lady there who was kicked out of her house, where she says she has the title deeds and so on. But someone just came with cops, JMPD police,
And kicked out.
you know, saying that, no, this place has been now bought by someone else.
Yeah,
How
so
will she
unfair
has the
practice and
title,
stuff.
you know?
But do you think that do you feel, and the answer will probably be yes to this, but which probably sad, but let me ask the question before I judge. Do you think that there are those who do become compromised as far as being able to be bought over, or hey, you know, don't cover this or whatever, especially when it becomes tricky as far as political stories or these stories where people, you know, can be exposed? Do you think that could be a case where people get bought over or
Listen, I'd
compromised?
hope not, I'd hope not, but reality shows us around the world things like that do happen. But I hope that journalists stick true to their trade, you know. There's even these whole narratives that we've heard continuously of journalists being bought over. There have been stories there. You just need to look just via the internet, for example. There are saddening stories there, which is disappointing for the profession. You'd hear Mama Whitney Mandela and that whole, what's it called now? Just forgot the name. That happened, that deliberate painting of her in a bad light, where they try to seek out even a little insignificant
Look
things
for
just
things
to taint her name, and they managed to do that quite well in the apartheid eras for Winnie Mandela Matikizela. Her name now is tarnished till now, whereas she's the person that actually made the ANC who they are, made Nelson Mandela who he is. He's the one that I remember speaking to. One of the reverends in America, I just forgot, Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson.
Spoke to him in 2017.
Did you go over there, or was he
No, he was here, I think, for the funeral of Winnie Mandela. It's 2018, I think. Jesse Jackson told me how that woman made Nelson. They didn't know Nelson Mandela then. Jesse Jackson, remember, was close friend to Martin Luther King. So he told me how that woman made the ANC, how she continuously was engagements with people all over the world to have the name Nelson Mandela out there. That's why, remember, there were 9 Revolia trialists. There were a lot of them, but it's the name Nelson Mandela that stood out because of Winnie Mandela. It's not that he played a significant role,
but there was a driving force behind it. Yeah,
she shone the light to
and so you say that the media had a big role to play in tarnishing
her name. That's what they did successfully. It's Stratcom, that's what they call it.
Yes.
They had an agenda to tarnish her name, and they did it successfully.
Yeah,
hence now her name,
is tarnished now. People are
two ways about her, whereas she actually did a lot of work to make the ANC what they are.
What about the whole COVID thing taking place?
COVID is scary, hey? I mean, we were the first journalists in the Eastern Cape to cover a COVID funeral. 2 people passed away, and it was 2 coffins. I remember we took it live for half an hour. It was scary. You don't know how to act. And COVID, the scary thing about COVID is that no one knew much about it when it came, you know? So we didn't know how to deal with it. You don't know what's safe, what's not safe. Scientists didn't know much about it. It just came in and it hit hard. So even doing stories around that period was very scary. But we did a number of good stories. As I say, the purpose of journalism for me, changing lives, no matter how little. I remember there was a family who couldn't get their child, a Cuban doctor, about to graduate, 1 month into graduation, passes away in Cuba. Can't come back because the government says it's too expensive to repatriate, Eastern Cape government. Too expensive to repatriate. So they gave them options of either to cremate the body there or bury it that side. But they're saying we're not going to bring it back. You can imagine the cultural significance of having the full body and burying it, you know, in the Eastern Cape. It's a family from the rural areas in the Eastern Cape. So when we went there, I remember it was on a Sunday. We covered that story. 2 weeks later, we were at the funeral of that child happening in the Eastern Cape.
So they brought the body back? They
brought it back because of the story.
Yes, so that's a good thing. Then that means you guys, you know, there is positivity
that's
because you shine the spotlight on these things.
You know.
Okay, last one before we call it a day, man. Who was your most? Did you ever interview someone? Let's start this question like this: who was your most famous person you've interviewed? Who was your favorite person you've interviewed, or spoken to, or had a chance to meet, or what was your most memorable?
Of people that I've met, and spoke to Bill Gates.
You spoke to Bill Gates.
Number of people. I met Barack Obama.
That's lekker. You got pictures?
The pictures. There are billionaires. Your local Petrus Motsepe. President always points out at me like, whenever he sees me, you know, there are a number of significant people from around the world. That's the thing about journalism. You get to travel places that you never imagined. That's the beauty of it. Your office is literally around the world, you know. So I meet a lot of amazing human beings that not only help with the stories that I tell, they help me, you know. I get a lot of insight from these, take bit by bit in order to build me, myself, and...
So do you travel internationally as well? As far as covering story, or mostly local?
Pre-COVID, I was traveling a country every month, literally. Pre-COVID.
Yeah.
You know, South Korea. But I've been to a couple of countries, Ghana, Ivory Coast.
You haven't been North Korea?
Not yet. I hear they're building nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
So from before we call it a day, from everything that's taking place, you personally, what do you do in your spare time just to unwind? Let me get back together.
I try to relax as much as I can and spend time with people that are close to me, because you get to do so much on a daily basis that whenever you have free time, I try to relax and see new places. Though it doesn't stop. Besides, I don't let work be the only form of me seeing new places. I try to do new things with interesting people and seeing places with interesting people. Yeah.
Aviwe, thank you so much for joining us. Like you said before we started, you were like, "Hey man, normally I'm the one asking the questions, but today I'm being asked questions." But I think you've given us some interesting stories, man, and some interesting insight. And I hope we can have another conversation again in the future.
I hope so. I hope so. Thank you for this opportunity. People don't know that I'm actually shy, so it was a bit nerve-wracking, but I'm glad we
you handled it. Paris, closing remarks from your side, bro?
Nah, man, I just pray. What do I pray? I pray protection.
That youth again.
What's up?
That you don't
go kiss girls at youth.
Where do you find your wife?
At church.
Oh, okay. Justified, I guess. Justified.
So yeah.
But yeah, man, I pray protection, broski, over you, protection, strength.
Thank you, brother.
And just that inner peace as well, just to get you through everything that takes place.
Thank you.
Closing remarks from your side, and then I'll close.
No, I appreciate this opportunity. Glad to have met you guys, spoken to you guys, and I hope, just in terms of getting your goals, remain positive. Nothing is unachievable to the people listening out there. Totally nothing. If you put your mind to it, anything is possible,
100%.
So thank you for this opportunity.
Nah, bro, thank you for coming through. It's been an honor. Thank you for honoring the invite and for actually showing up. Makes a big difference. We learned a lot from you. We learned a lot from your experiences. We'll continue to support. When we see you on TV, we'll tell the people, I know that guy. But thank you so much for showing up, man. It's been an honor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please do so. Also, copy that link on the top of this video or on the bottom of this video, whatever it is that you're watching from your phone or your computer. And share it on your WhatsApp status. Send it to friends, send it to family. Tell people to come check out this video, today's interview, and also check out the other stuff that we got going on the show. Our last interview was fun as well. We had Dimpy. We had a bunch of cool interviews, and also we have shows every day. So tomorrow morning again at 9 o'clock we got shows coming up. Different hosts, different presenters, different people doing different shows. So continue to subscribe, continue to hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button so that it gives you a heads up when we do go live. But thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to everyone who made today's video possible. And he called me Bishop on TV the other day, but it's cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. Love you. Bye-bye. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to it.
Good morning to the folks. What up to the youngins, and bless up to the world.
And then Jay just put your info on blast like that.
It's what the people want to know, bro. My bad.
Nah, bro.